Thank you, Michael. Now let's get those tweets coming in, and of course we'll be sampling them further into the show. But of course, let's break down those numbers. And this is the research that was conducted amongst a group of 1,500 respondents. And of course, it shows us that over half the country, half of the respondents, or rather half the country, as it did reflect, is not even aware of the Big Four agenda. But let's see the numbers that are here on the screen. The state of the nation, as far as that Infotrak survey is concerned, it reveals that 48% of Kenyans believe that the country is headed in the wrong direction, and these people were sampled from all across the country. 34% of them feel that the country is indeed headed in the right direction, as is reflected right here. And of course, this is with regards to various aspects of ranging from the education system all the way to the economic situation in the country. Now, 14% are not sure if the country is headed in the wrong or right direction, and of course perhaps an ambivalence being reflected right there on that board right there. 47% feel that they're not really sure whether the country is headed in the wrong directions, and they have various people that they do blame, and many of these are political leaders. We have 26% of them saying that they blame President Uhuru Kenyatta for the country barreling down the wrong track, and of course 15% blame all political leaders who are involved. They feel like they all have a hand in the country moving in the wrong direction. 11% blame both Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. 9% blame all Kenyans. They feel everybody has a hand in the country not moving in the right direction in various areas, while 5% blame Uhuru and Raila, the UN envoy, for the country not heading in the right direction. And of course, Raila Odinga did take the least share of those blames, as been revealed by that Infotrak survey. Then 49% say the country is headed in the right direction, say because of the prevailing peace. That is 49%. 16% says the economy is performing better, while 14% say this is due to good infrastructure. So these are the areas that some of those who feel that the country is moving in the right direction are pointing to as an indicator that the country is actually moving in the right direction. But of course, there are pressing issues. 55% say that high cost of living is an indicator that things are not good. Of course, everybody wants a decent life, and of course, this, if they're not having this, then they feel that the country is moving in the wrong direction. Then 33% say corruption is a big indicator of the country not doing so well, while 18% are pointing to unemployment. And I'm sure perhaps this has to do with a lot of the young people who are around looking for jobs, having been educated but not being able to find work, of course, to put food on the table. Then 10% are blaming poor governance, and of course that 10% of course perhaps reflects that portion that was blaming all the political leaders for the wrong that is in the country. Now, 9%, of course, to do with that also are blaming bad politics. 4% external debt to donors. Of course, Kenya is having a huge burden to donors, and of course, in the budget that was just read the other day, it was indicated that we will be borrowing further from external sources. Then 4% external debt to donors, and then 3% tribalism. This is a problem that has plagued us for a long time, and of course, this is no surprise that we would blame it on the current state of the country. Poor infrastructure as well. We have had some improvement in our infrastructure with the SGR and of course other elements that have come in the past few years, but of course there are counties that are plagued by very poor infrastructure, and this is an indicator to many of the respondents that, or rather some of the respondents, that the country is not headed in the right direction. Now, the 2019-2020 budget comes into play in this section, where we have 58% are dissatisfied with it, 17% are satisfied with it, while 25% are undecided. They can't decide whether this budget is working for them or against them. So, of course, they are a bit ambivalent on that issue, perhaps due to being unaware of what is in it for them or against them. But that is the breakdown of how the respondents feel about the budget that was read a few weeks ago. Now, those who are unhappy with the budget, 64% say government failed to reduce taxes on essentials. Now, these are the areas that they were hoping they would get some reprieve on, but did not get. And of course, 15% are unhappy with the border comprehensive cover. And this has been touted as something that is going to help the common mwananchi, particularly with the many accidents that are happening. But of course, some feel that this is not a good thing, and therefore is an indicator that the country is not headed in the right direction as far as the budget that was read the other day is concerned. And that's the last on this